This video lecture has been produced using artificial intelligence with the supervision of Belhaven faculty.
Welcome. Today we're going to dive into the transition stage of group counseling, which is a really critical and, often challenging period in any group's journey. We'll start by defining what this stage is all about, then we'll explore the key group dynamics you'll see. After that, we'll examine the leader's crucial role, navigate the essential clinical processes involved, and finally, look at how all these elements work together to build toward group cohesion.
So, what exactly is this transition stage? Well, it's a period that can feel pretty turbulent, but it is absolutely essential for a group's development. Let's start by getting a clear understanding of this period of challenge and ultimately of growth.
You'll often see this stage characterized by a pretty noticeable shift in the group's energy. It's marked by conflict, by resistance. Now, it's so important to understand that these aren't signs that the group is failing. Not at all. Instead, they usually come from members' underlying fear, or maybe confusion, or just caution as they think about engaging on a deeper level. A skilled leader sees this not as a problem, but as a powerful opportunity for growth.
Okay, so we've defined it. But let's get into the specifics. What are the behaviors and dynamics that really define this period? What does this stage actually feel like for the people inside the group?
Well, 4 core characteristics tend to pop up. First, you've got conflict. This is where members might start to challenge each other, or maybe even the leader, as their differences come to the surface. Second is resistance, which can look like a lot of different things. Hesitation, silence, or even testing the leader's competence. Third, you'll see members testing boundaries, really trying to figure out if the group is a genuinely safe and confidential space. And finally, there's this palpable sense of anxiety and ambivalence, where people feel torn. They want to connect more deeply, but they're also afraid of that exposure. Remember, these are all expected and even necessary parts of the group's development.
The group's ability to actually navigate this challenging terrain successfully, well, it really all hinges on the leader's response. How they handle these emerging dynamics is what makes all the difference.
And here you can see a really clear contrast. On the one hand, you have ineffective responses, things like ignoring the conflict, becoming defensive, or trying to over-control the group. These will almost always stall progress. But on the other hand, you have effective strategies. A skilled leader normalizes resistance. They use comments to explore what's happening just beneath the surface, and they skillfully balance challenging the group with supporting it. This is the approach that ultimately builds real trust and safety.
So this naturally brings us to some of the specific clinical processes that leaders have to manage ethically and effectively during this stage. Think of these as the tools that help guide the group forward.
Let's start with the big one, confrontation. Now, it is so crucial that we reframe this term. In a therapeutic setting, confrontation isn't about being aggressive or punitive. It's about respectfully addressing discrepancies, say, between what someone says and what they do, to promote honesty and accountability. It's really a tool for growth.
The leader's job here is really to model a constructive approach. It needs to be respectful, supportive, and specific. The whole goal is to encourage members to confront one another in ways that actually build trust, not escalate conflict. It's about normalizing this process as a healthy and vital part of the group's development.
Next, let's look at a really powerful dynamic called transference. This happens when members unconsciously project feelings or unresolved issues from past relationships onto people in the group, whether it's the leader or another member. In essence, the past starts to influence the present, right there in the room.
An effective leader doesn't overreact to this. Instead, they recognize transference for what it is, and they use it as a valuable opportunity for insight and growth for that member. This really shows the balance a leader has to strike, maintaining those firm professional boundaries while also skillfully exploring the meaning behind these projections.
And finally, leaders have to be incredibly aware of their own internal processes. This brings us to the concept of countertransference. This is all about the leader's own emotional reactions to members, which are often rooted in the leader's personal history. If these reactions go unrecognized, they can very easily cloud judgment and create bias.
So, managing countertransference is an absolute ethical imperative. It takes continuous self-awareness to just monitor your own personal reactions. It takes the professional humility to go seek supervision when those reactions feel strong. And it takes the skill to use those reactions constructively to build empathy, while always avoiding acting them out in the group. Okay, so we've talked about all these different pieces: conflict, resistance, confrontation, transference. How does a leader bring all of this together to guide a group from that inevitable tension toward the safety and trust of real cohesion?
Well, the path forward really starts with normalizing resistance and conflict as natural, expected parts of the process. It's about encouraging constructive confrontation to deepen trust, while also addressing transference and countertransference openly and ethically. By consistently reinforcing the group's norms, like confidentiality, and highlighting shared progress along the way, the leader helps transform the challenges of this stage into profound group growth.
And that brings our overview of the transition stage of group counseling to a close. It's a necessary and truly transformative journey from conflict to connection.